Yes.
Perfect. So awesome. You're here. I'm so happy. We are here with the fantastic Deanna Wheeler, my new favorite country superstar.
Aw. In the making.
In the making. And what were we talking about? So I always get so confused because like I'll have conversations prior to show and then I'm like, want to continue it, but then I'm like, no one else knows what we're talking about.
Right. You're like, we should save this for live because if we don't, then we'll think we already talked about it and then we'll talk about it like they've heard it already.
Yep. I've had amazing conversations with people and then I'm like, oh, well, we should have saved that for the show. So no, I'm so glad you're here. I wanted to jump into it because like we were saying before, I always get asked like why I have certain people on and I'm like, well, the whole health and wellness thing is it's universal. Like it's not just subjected to gym rats and the thirst trap people, and everyone has like cool, interesting backgrounds of like what keeps them active, things they go through, and a lot of it can be mental health as well.
Oh yeah.
But before jumping into that, I always like to kind of give people background on who I have here. So you're not originally from Texas, and you just kind of bouncing around. But how did you end up out here?
So one word, divorce, actually brought me here. I was born in Tampa, raised in California, back and forth between here in California since I was in grade school. Mm-hmm. My dad's side of the family lives out here in Dallas. Well, in Dallas, not here because we're in Austin. Mm-hmm. But so I was in an abusive relationship with a Marine for far too long. And it was, the time that I finally left him and took my 3 kids and just drove to Texas and rented a house on the fly. Didn't even see it first. I just rented a house and
just came out here.
Yeah.
Had you ever visited prior?
No, I'd never been to Austin. No, yes, I did. When I tried out for American Idol. Oh wow. In the very beginning of 2005. That's why that was like my last hoorah before joining the military. When I did that was in Austin. That was the only time I'd ever been to Austin.
Oh wow. I bet it's a lot different now than it was then.
I don't even remember what it was then because I went and tried out and then that's all I remember really. Back. Well, no, I got to the 4th preliminary and then I screwed up the words to All Jacked Up. I said the first verse twice and they were like, I'm sorry, Catherine McPhee and Taylor Hicks set the bar really high last year. You're just not what we're looking for. I was like, well, okay.
I've always wondered what like the background is on that. Like, because I've had friends that have done it. Then I know that they all have to sign like agreements and stuff. And I'm just like, I'll just leave it alone. But
yeah, if you're on the show and you get to a final position, like you can't do anything with your music or anything because you're the American Idol person or use it for any type of advertising for like a year afterwards. It may be longer now. I don't know.
It's
crazy.
And I've heard that from like tabloids and stuff, but like you don't know what's real anymore. But yeah, I actually a couple years ago I had a friend that was on tour with them, and we went and visited them. They were doing like American Idol tour, and the band that he was helping was like opening for him. Is like a boy band that won the show, boy band that was formed. And they were all like, "Oh, we have to do this. Like we're actually under contract." And I was like, "Oh, all right, well."
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a wild life, but if it helps them get their start, it's worked out for a lot of people, including your hero.
Absolutely.
Carrie Underwood.
I love her so much. She's just my spirit animal, I think. In fact, I don't know if that's politically correct and allowed to say, but
can't say spirit animal now?
Oh, there's so many different things.
They're taking everything from us.
If you've ever seen the morning show, they were very clear about that because like he had to like issue an apology on the show because he's a weatherman and he said it and it was just
you
really
can't say spirit animal? How is that even wrong?
Not as small as we are, but like when you get bigger, then people get offended that you get offended by their culture is offended.
Oh, okay. But I mean, that's reaching a little bit. Like I don't think people say it to be offensive. Like
absolutely not, but nobody usually says things offensively that people take offense to.
I don't know. We got to stop letting the crazy people dictate culture. Like it's like there's a fine line between like actively being offensive and then like now you're just
if you're just mean, that's one thing, and you're just like go hit by a car. Please.
Yeah, please play in traffic. But and then it's like when you say stuff like that, when you know it's not like out of any type of anger, then you're kind of like, come on, man. Like,
it's the malice behind it.
That
changes the game a little bit.
Yep, it's exhausting, really. I'm so tired of like, well, I don't actually care anymore, but I just got so tired of like walking on eggshells. And so, but not to go down that rabbit hole.
There's been podcasts before when my mom's like, you can't say that. Tell them to take that off. I'm like, oh, crap.
No.
But it wasn't like anything bad.
Yeah.
It was, we have military lingo and slang and stuff like that. And then you pop it in there and someone's like, whoop, that's not, nope.
No, my thing is like, I just kind of say what I want. I just don't have the wherewithal to like veer around things because I don't even know what's considered offensive anymore. And so I'm just not going to like be offended. Like that's kind of the new thing is.
You're the Carlos Mencia of the podcasting world.
Yeah.
Make fun of all of you.
I forgot about him.
Equally.
He was great back
in
the day.
What happened to him?
He got called out for stealing jokes. Carlos Mencia. Yeah. In fact, ReGen called him out. There's like a whole video on YouTube, like exposed him on stage and called him out for stealing jokes. And then like a couple other guys that have accused him, they went and were with Joe when that happened. And it's a big video on YouTube.
Wow.
And like after that, actually, from what I heard on the show, Joe actually got in trouble because Carlos was hot at the time. And so his agent like dropped him and all that. And then as more evidence came out.
Website. A slander website. That makes sense.
I know, right?
A slander lawsuit at first, and then it's like, oh, wait, it's true.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think it was lawsuits. I think it was just like public image stuff. That's a whole weird world. But it's, then once a lot of evidence came out that Carlos was like actually like stealing stuff, then that's where he kind of disappeared. Because I haven't seen him in a lot. I remember he had that show, The Mind of Mencia.
Yeah, I remember that too.
That was pretty funny.
I just broke a nail. I just noticed that. Okay. Where is it? Like, where is my nail?
Know. So, so kind of coming back on track what you're saying. So what was life like then, I guess, coming out here as a single parent from California?
Well, so at the time my kids were much younger than they are now. Mm-hmm. And it was very taxing because, I had to figure out what was next. I had to figure out job-wise. I had to figure out, what direction I wanted to be in. I rented because I didn't know if I wanted to stay here or, here. I'm in Austin now. Forgot. But yeah, I had to see if I wanted to stay here. And then, some other situations arose and I bought a house and I hit this wall and I was just like, I need to go get a job or I need to go back to school and become a nurse. And that was my two options in my head. Because, even though, I'm retired from the military and all of that, and I had sold a house in California, so I was fine. So I didn't have to work. Mm-hmm. But my kids didn't see me try to do anything. They see me kiss their boo-boos, make their food, do their laundry sometimes. Yeah. I'm really bad at that. But so that's all they saw. So they never saw like grit and how to get a goal accomplished. So I was like, I need something to do for my children to show them like what hard work can pay off and do. So, but I also was in a very dark hole. So I just decided to take 2 weeks off of life and even went on a couple Bumble dates. Yeah, that happened. Yeah. And that's where my life changed, actually. I went on a date with this cop that looked at himself more in the mirror than anybody I've ever seen and was like, look at my muscles and pictures. I'm just like, oh my God, this is so annoying.
Like, I'm here, right?
Oh my God. It was just like, this is fun. Yeah. No. And then he's like trying to talk me into a different lifestyle. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But so we go to this show in the powerhouse in New Braunfels.
Okay.
And it was the very first concert I had been to. I'd gone to like little things in Austin here and there and met some friends, and my very, very bestest friend, Johnny Vogelsang, who took me all around and showed me bands and different things and met some musicians. It was a lot of fun. But this was the first concert I went to, and I was with this guy, and I'm just like, can I get away from him? So I literally went up to the band, and it was a well-known band at the time I didn't know because I'm not from here. Uh-huh. And it was Stray Hearts. And I walk up, and I'm like, hey, can I sing with you guys? And he's like, no, that's not how this works. I'm like, well, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So here we go. So then I find out by this girl, Katie, that was there watching and seeing me miserable and decided to befriend me. And she was like, hey, that guy are all veterans. And I was like, okay. So I kind of snuck in the back door with that card. And we jammed out afterwards. And he was like, dude, you're awesome. You have to come play our 4th of July set with us. And I sat in with them, my very first sit-in, and sang some songs with them. I was completely awful. I didn't even know how to harmonize at the time. And but someone took a video of it, and it went semi-viral throughout Austin, and I got a promoter calling me, I want to represent you. I'm like, represent what?
Just jamming.
I'm like a glorified karaoke singer at this point. Like I don't do anything. I don't have a band. She's like, get one. So I went with my buddies and we cherry picked band members and started what we called my dad band. Yeah. They at one point wanted to call themselves Deanna Wheeler and the Gravel Rakers because they were going to be under it soon. No, I'm just kidding. No, they were great guys. Like Widgeon Holland, he was the best showman in Austin. I love him to death still to this day. He could play a guitar behind his back, behind his head with his teeth. It didn't matter. He's not
even possible.
Oh, I just saw a video of it like last week. I was on my phone. I was like, holy crap, that was a long time ago.
These guys are so talented.
I was doing the splits behind him. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. Like, I was reaching for some people. Like, look at me. But
today's episode is brought to you by ReGen Health and Wellness. The team at ReGen Health and Wellness is devoted to helping patients revitalize, repair, and renew the optimal blueprint of yourself. They provide an individualized and concierge model of healthcare, empowering patients to optimize their health span and overall quality of life. It's said no one can escape father time, but almost everyone can make the conscious decision and commit to living better and healthier lives. It begins with a mindset. They offer both in-clinic and telemedicine consultations. So whether you're due for a routine checkup or struggling to hit your health and fitness goals, go online or give them a call to schedule your appointment today.
No, so I went out in Austin and just tried to find a band. And the very next day, after the promoter called me, I did this audition for that thing, the magic music show, Esther's Follies. And I got the call back and I was super pumped. And I was like, holy crap, I really did that. Like I made my own character up because at one point I realized like if you want to be funny, you also have to be okay being ugly. Yeah. And I was just like not cool with that for a really long time. And then I realized I don't care very much. So I was just a stupid character I made up. She's like a 90-year-old woman that used to be like a cheerleader back in the day. The whirly bird of the West. And I killed that audition. And then I get back to my car and I have a message from this promoter, like she asked me how old I was and then said that this producer wants to meet with me if I can meet him in 30 minutes. And turns out he's really, really close to my house. So I went there and we decided to start making my album the very next day. So it was a whirlwind. It really was. I went from nothing to I'm making a record and I found a band and it played within 2 weeks. And I released my first song within a month. So it was like, poof. And then what was crazy was she writes me and she's like, when you get your first 2 originals, I want you to play on the news on Fox 7. And I was just like, what?
Like everything's just unfolding so fast. Like,
but here's what happened. Those 2 weeks that I took off, I was hitting a wall like I told you. I hit my knees and just begged God, the universe, whatever you believe in. I said, if you don't give me something to hold on to, I'm going to let go. Because I wasn't my best version of myself. I didn't believe I was, cut out to be a single mom. I didn't know what was going on. But I asked God for help. And within 2 weeks, I had a bona fide music career. Yeah. Talk about...
and you know what? I think the important thing of that, too, is that I think when a lot of people ask for help like that from whatever they believe in, that it's like they set themselves up for failure because they have this idea that it's just gonna be handed to them. And I think that's one of the cool things that I can applaud you for is like you saw the door open for you and you took the decision to walk through it. When a lot of people, they're just like why isn't this just being given to me? Like opportunities, are often created, but a lot of people don't do anything with them. So I think that's really cool that you're at your lowest, yet you're still, hustling. Like you're still working. Like you're not just letting bitterness hold you back. And
I was always a workaholic. Yeah. It didn't matter what I did. And the best part about being in the military was you had to work. Mm-hmm. You were told what to do, when to brush your teeth, when to go to the bathroom, when to clean your room. It was very simple. And that's why I was so good in the military. But when I got out, I was just a little lost. Yeah. And when I found a purpose again, I'm a firm believer. You have to find your why to get your reason to stay alive, to do it correctly. Because people can stay alive and not be living all day long. Yep. So many people are just in the rat race. So many people are just stuck. So many people live in holes that they create, in loneliness. And I just know I can't survive that. I realized, and I mean, going way back, like, I've had suicidality in my life. And ever since the day that music came into my life, I have never had a suicidal thought.
Do you find yourself appreciating things a lot more? Like, you take the time to just really, like, enjoy things and appreciate what you have versus, like, what you don't have, which I think gets lost a lot. I've certainly been down those roads before. And I think it's funny that one of the things we had in common was your,
Blonde.
I think,
no.
yeah, the fact that we look related.
Brother,
yeah,
sister.
Right. Is our mutual, like, relationship with MVP, which is,
Yes.
I think that what you were just saying, like, click that for me, is the identity aspect. Because you joined the military, what year was it again?
05.
05. And how long were you in?
7 years. I got out in 12.
7 years. And so you're talking about identity, and I think that's a perfect segue into what kind of the MVP, the whole nonprofit is helping people find that, because I don't think people really understand that when you have, an identity with a certain career, or just that brotherhood, sisterhood,
Yes.
just that whole accommodation with a group of individuals where you share that work ethic, and then just back thrown in the world where you're by yourself and you don't have those people to lean on.
Yeah.
Like, it can really, because
I miss the camaraderie, the unity.
That's the word I was looking for.
The knowing that someone has your back and that you have a purpose of having someone else's, not just the country. Because that's a bigger purpose in the brain when you're in there. It's not like the first thing on your mind.
Yeah.
You're just worried about the people, and they turn into family. Like, I have family all over the world because of the military, and some people that I would probably die for before other people.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how to say that without offending people.
No, no, but it's not. I noticed it because my older brother is military, like I was telling you earlier, and he's still very close to all the guys that he served with. Like, he just went and did this reunion party in Missouri, and it was like all these guys from his unit.
That's awesome.
And it's crazy how close they are and, like, what they do for each other. Like, they'll just, if someone's struggling, they all fly somewhere just to go, like, check on that person and things like that.
That actually, so when we were just in Orlando, I found out one of my friends that I was stationed with in Edwards Air Force Base the entire time, basically, moved out there, and he wrote me. He was like, "Come to Orlando and not call me," like,
oh, shit.
Sad face. I'm like, "Oh shit, okay." So we hung out with him, and it was just so great to catch up. And I try to stay as close as I can with the people that were there for me out there.
Yeah, it's a really, because before I moved to Texas, I lived in Tacoma, and that's where my brother was stationed. Was at Fort Lewis McChord.
Okay.
And I didn't really have any friends out there, so I hung out with him and his, military buddies. And yeah, it's just such a really, like, unique, cool group of people. It's crazy how much shit they'll give you, but then, like, they'll do anything for you if you need it. Like,
oh yeah.
If someone's moving, there's like 9 guys there, and they're just doing it because.
Okay, where's that group? Because they weren't there for me last time. Hello, no.
Well,
you have to ask, and that just doesn't happen. Actually, one from MVP helped us move. We got to use his truck. I mean, he was super great. So thank you, Frank.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have a great group of friends out here. I think it's important, kind of touching back on the camaraderie, to have a group around you, that, like, lifts you up. I talked to a popular bodybuilder. A lot of people know, his name's Mark Lobliner. And he told me one time, this is like 4 or 5 years ago, but he said, surround yourself with people that complement your strengths and help you overcome your weaknesses. I've always held on to that when, like, meeting people, or, like, determining who I want as friends and then who's just, like, an associate. And it's like, is this person going to help me become a better version of me, or are they just going to be an anchor and hold me back?
Exactly. God, so many more people need to think that way. And I always think, like, you surround yourself with people that you aren't better than.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to be the smartest or strongest one in the room. You want to be surrounded with that because you want to become whatever they are. There's like a 5-year rule. You hang out with people for 5 years, and hopefully you get to their level. And then the next room of people you're in, you're back at the bottom.
Yep.
You just have to keep progressing up that ladder, and the people you're around is a huge, huge part of it, and the community you surround yourself with, because you are judged by the company you keep.
Yep.
My mother has told me that since I was a kid, when my friends were smoking pot and cigarettes and drinking and whatever, and you know, I didn't, but I was associated. So that's what she saw me as. So I always took that very, very powerfully. And I was like, well, I need to choose my friends wisely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had a high school coach that said, you are who you hang out with. And he gave us all cards. I think I still have it somewhere that says that. And couldn't be more right. Like you nailed it on the head. You are who you hang out with. Like you are judged by your company. And so, like I'm big on having friends that hold me accountable because like we're all not perfect. We all fuck up. Like we make mistakes. And it's like as long as you can own it, learn from it, and grow, like you'll be fine. Like no one's perfect. Everyone's gonna mess up. I messed up. I messed up earlier.
We restarted.
Yeah. So today's episode is brought to you by Avatar Nutrition. It is always a treat to show some love to our sponsor, Avatar Nutrition. Avatar is actually owned by my friend Mark, who is a lifting buddy of mine from the gym. What I didn't realize at the time is that his app has been used by close to 200,000 people, and they've used it to lose over 2.5 million pounds of pure body fat. What's really special about Avatar is that it's a complete service delivered through a super easy-to-use app. See, Avatar is the OG in the macros game and created a process that makes counting macros both fun and simple to stick to long-term. You've got unlimited support from their community and experts on staff, and they are in the business of giving their clients results that last. Try it free on the App Store or Google Play Store for 2 weeks, and if you love it as much as I do, it's just $9.99 a month after that, or $97.99 for the annual rate if you want even more of a discount. If you're a coach, trainer, or you own any kind of business and want to use Avatar to facilitate game-changing nutrition coverage for your people, Avatar is a program for groups too. Just contact them through their website to learn more at www.avatarnutrition.com. But
you can edit that out. It's okay.
No, I don't care. It's fine. But they, you know, I think it's important for people to hear that because that's one thing I try to preach. Everyone thinks that like what I have here was just like overnight, that I just like somehow have this really cool platform and I'm doing this, the expo. It's by the time this comes out, it's already passed. But no, that was years of work and failing. Like the venue that it's at, that wasn't our original venue. I worked on one place for a year and a half.
Wow.
Before I found out that that wasn't going to happen. I'm like, oh, so now I got to start over. And like, you know, all these people that committed backed out, and there's a lot of trial and error that people don't see, but I think it's important that it's more mainstream to talk about. So, you know, there's not this misconception that success just happens to certain people.
In the music industry, we call it the 10-year overnight success.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks that person just came out of the sky. And overnight success, and it's like she's been working for like 15 years, like 10 years at least. Like,
were you playing music and performing while you were serving?
I did a little bit, and I sang the national anthem for everything. I did it 57 times in the military. Jeez. And I still can't do it right. No, I'm just I actually tried to make my own version of it, and the NASCAR said it was too country.
Oh, well, God forbid a country singer sings a song in country. Yeah.
So it was just like, but yeah, I did some of that. And then when I got out, I was in a couple different bands. That the very first time I ever did anything, because I went to college, and then there was this music class that had this guy, Steve, was the best instructor ever, rest in peace. But he introduced me to so much of the industry that I didn't know, and I wasn't sure I was going to ever know. And it was the first time I played with live bands, and I just freaking fell in love. And they realized then, they were like, your stage presence is like you've done this before. And I was also a cheerleader basically my whole life. So it was like, I wonder if that played a role in that, because I had to be exuberant and out there from the get-go. And my daughter's the same way. Oh my God.
Ball of energy.
Oh, and sass and attitude and flair everywhere. But so I realized I was really, really comfortable and good at it. I was still with my ex at the time, and then had to end up babysitting him some more. So I got out of it, and I felt like I was just pulled out because I was trying to be there for my family. And then when I got here, it was like I kept going to little shows in Austin. I'm like, how do I get up on that stage? And I did it.
And you did it. Yeah.
I forgot where we were going with that, but
no, it's just, you know, it's cool that
ADD.
Yeah, there's, you know how many times I've done shows and someone will be talking and I'll be like, I totally forgot what we were talking about.
Right?
Like, this is why I keep like a list of like, I always have a talking points, because I'm like, I'll forget stuff. And even when I'm talking to someone, I'll be like, where the hell were we going with this?
Where I'm serious though. Yeah. Where were we going with that?
I don't even know, because I was focused on what you were saying. I got locked in. But I guess kind of switching gears then, along the lines of the health and wellness and what we have here and stuff, I think one of the coolest things is what you overcame. And I'll let you kind of tell that story because it's pretty insane from just the bits and pieces I was told. But, you know, that's pretty wild. I think it's pretty inspirational too. But kind of walk us through how all that happened.
Well, I just got picked up to go on tour with this other band. And I was going to be co-headlining because they enjoyed my veteran following and different things, and they wanted to bring that into the mix. So I went to go meet this band on Friday night, 4.5 years ago now. And you know, the band that I was going to be on tour with. So I went there and I was wearing heels, and I thought I twisted my ankle or something because my ankle started to hurt. And actually, what's really funny is I didn't even really remember this part. I actually found it later in text message form with my guitarist. Went over, I was like, "Hey, can I use a heating pad because I twisted my ankle or something, and you know it's hurting, and I didn't know what to do or what I did, but it was a little bit swollen, so I wasn't thinking anything other than just I twisted it or there was an injury. So it was hurting that night. Totally forgot about that. So then I had to go do a meeting in Houston, and to go meet with the venue I was doing a show with, and I'm like in this meeting, and I feel like there's ants biting me in the back of, like fire ants biting me in the back of my knee. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I've got to go. And my babysitter at the time was like, it can't be an overnight thing. Like, you have to come home. I'm like, okay, cool. So if it wasn't for that, I probably would have been on the side of the road and calling 911 because it was bad. My left leg kind of went dead. By the time I got home, I like slithered into my apartment at the time. And I just, the house I bought, I had just made into an Airbnb and got an apartment to make some money. And yeah, that's when I got paralyzed. So I go to the hospital after getting home, and you know, and it was Mother's Day Eve. Oh, it was Mother's Day, like the day before Mother's Day. So everyone and their mother is in the ER. St. David's. I was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get seen.
Do you know why that is?
Yes, I have a theory.
I'm curious.
Well, you can
tell me.
A lot of mothers and mother-in-laws and different people, grandmothers, on Mother's Day want attention from their kin. And some of them are hypochondriacs, which is why there's not a lot of people going to hospitals anymore because the hypochondriacs stopped too. So it's a little bit different when it comes to that. Like there's a lot of attention that happens on Mother's Day. And if they don't get to see their kids or something, maybe they wanted to. That's my theory. And I was also told that by a nurse when I was there. She was like, I was like, why is there everybody here? She's like, well, that's what they do.
That's a good theory. I mean, that makes sense. I remember that. I don't even want to go off topic, but I was going to say, I remember that one commercial where the guy like the grandpa fakes his death. All his kids show up, and then he like walks in, and they're all like, what? I thought you were God. And he's like, it's what it took to get you.
Oh God, I've never seen that.
It's kind of messed up.
When you said commercial, all I thought about was we had a baby, it's a boy. Oh. It was the collect call, 1-800-COLLECT thing. It was a commercial for that years ago. I don't know why that just popped in my head.
I don't know why I just thought of that commercial. So
there we go. We're on the same weird wavelength.
Yeah, right?
Squirrel, like, butterfly. Squirrel, yeah. Oh my.
So you're in the hospital.
Okay, so mind you, before I got there, I don't like to go to hospitals at all. So I called one of my doctor friends, and she's like, what are you doing? Go to the freaking hospital, you dumbass. But then I also called the hospital, and I'm like, I'm not going to go there if you're going to give me a Valium and send me on my way and pat me on the butt, saying you're tired, because I was. But so they said, this is a medical emergency, so we can pick you up if you can't make it here. I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, well, I have to go. So I went, and by the time, like I said, wall-to-wall people, everybody lined up. Nobody has a bed even. They're, like, even in the hallways. When I got there, I was seen within 6 minutes, and I had my own room. Oh. And that was in itself very scary to begin with.
Like, what's that message?
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, what do they think I'm here for? Like, this is terrifying. So at this point, my body is on fire. Feels like lava is being poured on me because all my nerve endings are dying. So I'm like, do not touch me. They put me in a bed, and that was agonizing enough. And then this one nurse came in and was like, okay, I'm going to take you to the bathroom. I'm like, you're not going to do anything because I cannot move. Like, I am in too much pain. This was way too big of a process to get out of this bed. Are you serious? So they gave me a bedpan, and I couldn't go to the bathroom. And that's when I knew something was really wrong. What I really thought was I have herniated discs in my lower back, my L1 and L2. And I was like, they severed. I'm done. Like, I'm dead. Like, I'm paralyzed. I can't do anything. So after I was like, I can't go to the bathroom. Something's wrong. tell the nurses everything. Then they bring in a machine, kind of looks like this on one side of it. And they turn it around, and it's this big computer screen, and it's a dude on it. And he's like, we think we know what's wrong with you. We're calling back our MRI and our CT teams. And I'm like, Happy Mother's Day. Sorry. So they did that, and then I woke up to, I'm not going to tell the embarrassing part of that story. I always do because it's like the first thing in my brain. Maybe I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
So I had a lumbar puncture too, so I woke up in a strange environment there. Then I wake up and I'm hooked up to this IV with IVIG. Don't ask me what it stands for. Forgot. Interglobulin something. Either way, super allergic to it, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So it's supposed to clean out your old antibodies that are trying to kill you and give you new ones that aren't trying to kill you. But I became highly allergic to it within a day and a half, and it didn't work very well. But so I was woken up, and they told me that I had Guillain-Barré, and people call it Guillain-Barré. That's what they know it as most of the time. But it's my peripheral nerves were, the myelin sheath was eaten off of them by my central nervous system. I used to say that a little bit better, but I'm not as fluent as I used to be on this story. I don't talk about it that much. It's been a minute, yeah. So, I was paralyzed from my neck down within 6 hours, and
like zero movement. And feel nothing.
No, and after the IVIG hit my system, I was able to I was on life support for a while, but about 6 days later, I was about down to like my third or fourth rib to where I could feel, so I could talk again, I could breathe again on my own. I had to relearn how to use my diaphragm for singing and all of that. But what's really funny is I used to have trigger finger and 2 fingers. And so I would go to play guitar. And I've had a guitar since I was like 12. So I wanted to. But my 2 fingers would always lock out within like 30 seconds. And it was so painful. And I just thought I could never play guitar ever. And when I got my hand back, it was one of the first things that came back. It's never happened since. It's kind of strange. So I do. Itself. Yeah, but you still need time and years. Yeah. So I'm not good yet. But it's still a possibility now, so that's cool.
Wow. Today's episode is brought to you by CBD Online Express. CBD Online Express is a fresh, up-and-coming CBD company that strives to offer the highest quality products at an affordable price to help you in your everyday life. They offer a variety of products such as tinctures, edibles, flower, and even their new recreational line, Oxed Up. They also have plans to introduce water and an energy drink later this year. Go to cbdonlineexpress.com and get your products today. Man, that's so crazy to me because, like, I freak out when I wake up and I, like, slept on my arm. I can't imagine, like, the fear buildup and then, like, man, that gives me chills.
Yeah, try the PTSD behind that.
Yeah, right?
When my foot or hands go to sleep now, it's like,
yeah.
But it's fine. It's fine. I have to talk myself out of it, except for once. I'll tell you that later.
So how long were you in that state? Like, before you were
inpatient for 4 months in St. David South, and they realized I wasn't getting any better because my body wasn't healing yet. So they were training me all they wanted to, but it just wasn't working. So they put me in a nursing facility, a skilled nursing facility. Not that. No, not that at all. Ended up leaving there by giving them 5 citations by the state, and the state told me not to come back. They were like, we're coming back Monday. You probably shouldn't be here, or retaliation will happen. It's just what happens.
So bizarre.
Like, they can also retaliate. They tried to retaliate with me with my insurance and, like, so much crazy stuff because it was AMA technically, but the city told me to. It was crazy. So I am paralyzed, and I just got bused to my apartment when my kids were at my mom's because she took them because it was too much. They kept coming to visit me, and I was not in a good place either. Didn't want them seeing that, and my mom needed to go back to work too, so she just took my kids to California until this was all over. And I'm in my apartment by myself, no help. I just get dropped off, and I started kind of motivated. I'm wheeling around, zip, 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 and I am able to reach frozen Brussels sprouts out of the freezer. At the time, super keto, right? So, and I look up and I get the microwave and I open it up, click it open, throw it in. I'm so proud of myself at this point. Just slam the door. Can't reach anything else.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, I tried everything. I tried spoons and knives and forks, and I just couldn't do it. So I was just like, well, that's unfortunate. Yeah. So I went to bed for like 3 days, and I wasn't doing so great.
No, I can imagine.
But somehow, you're the loudest to the people who care about you when you're silent. And I had a group of people come to my aid and make me shelves that I could reach, make me a stick that I could push buttons with a rubber tip on the end of it so I could, get the buttons pushed for the microwave and turn on the stove if I wanted to. And they took me to the pool all the time for pool therapy, and it was amazing. And then I had one girl, Becca, a drummer friend of mine's girlfriend. She started doing acupuncture on me. I've never done it. I hate needles. It's not a thing I like to do. So she didn't tell me where she was plugging me or anything. She just stuck me all over the place. And we watched. I wish this was on YouTube. I wish this was on video. It would be viral. Mm-hmm. We watched these needles pluck, like one by one by one by one by one by one, in a row, in the row that they were. Mm-hmm. Which...
Like it just popped out?
No, they just like... It looked like someone flicked them. They just started, like, they flicked.
Okay.
They just twitched. Like all of them twitched.
Like response?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, what is that? And at this point, I'm paralyzed. I can't go to the bathroom on my own. That's fun. I'm just miserable. Yeah. And then I did start feeling a little twinge or something in my quad or whatever. But she takes the needles out. And at this point, I'm like, I'm skeptical. I don't believe in much.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I like rock back and forth. I'm like, what is that? What is that? I had to go to the bathroom for the first time in 5 months. I was like, shit, okay. That was never a problem since then either. And I walked within a month.
Oh, wow.
And that was 2 days ago was the 4-year anniversary of me taking my first steps.
There you go.
Yeah.
So with that, with walking again, was that something you had to like do yourself? Did you have any type of physical therapy? Did you go through any of that? Or was that you're just like, I'm just going to figure this out?
Well, so we had physical therapy inpatient. Mm-hmm. I hate to knock the lovely VA, but you can take it out if you want to. But they never set me up with OT. They never set me up with even a person to get a wheelchair from. I had to get that from other sources. Mm-hmm. So it was not the best environment, but I did do it on my own.
And so I'm kind of curious because I've never met someone that experienced paralysis and then got out of it, And so how long, or not how long, but like, what was that like starting to regain feeling? Like, what did you do? What's the word? Like specifically to start becoming mobile again? Like, did you just practice with like standing and sitting? Did you start with like walking, things like that?
There was a lot of standing and sitting, but so when I went in the beginning of August, I went to my mother's in California, and I decided that I was going to try a walker. Yeah. Because I knew I could move my quads. I was going to just give this a shot, and I didn't want my kids seeing me in a wheelchair. Yeah. The walker was better for me. If I even could nudge a little and sit down, I was fine. And I knew my mom was going to be there. Like, I was going to have help. And my Uncle Stink, we call him, his name is Steve, but my kids call him Uncle Stink because they could never say his name. And then it stuck. Now they can, but it stuck. He's like, for life. He's like 9 feet tall, built like a brick shit house, about like 8 feet wide. It's insane. So he's got my back, if anything. So I started with, standing up. I started this early. I tried to, at least, to where I would sit on the edge of my bed and I'd put my feet on the floor and I would just envision standing up and I would just kind of twitch a little bit to where my quads would engage. To this day, like, they taught me how to feel my muscles again in different ways because I can't move my muscles like you even to this day. I still have to think about kicking a soccer ball to move certain things, or I have to poke muscles. And that's actually it's interesting, good segue for Adam.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I was kind of leaning towards too, was, how you went from, because like I'm curious about like the first day you walked, like what that was like, and then leading into
very, very shaky.
my new best friend. Yeah.
So your new best friend met me and told me my upper body didn't know how to communicate with my lower body, and that we were going to do things to help that. And he's helped me ever since to regain strength and regain knowledge of which muscles do what and how to strengthen certain ones that, you know, allow that standing muscle to be stronger, or to keep your core tight for this, even if it doesn't feel like it needs to be. And there's certain things to do for balance, and there's certain, because I was a mess. Like when I started walking and getting great, but I also had to redo everything in my head.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it would be like stuttering, but with your body.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it was just like,
I was gonna say, it's hard for me to understand.
Can't find that muscle. Hold on.
Yeah.
And I'd wait, and I'd get so pissed off. I'm like, hold on, I'll find it. Like, good God, like wait, like, and it was just, and he was so patient with me, and he like understood that it was a lot of stress. It was a lot of,
I can imagine.
and it was dignity that it was taken from me, and it was super vulnerability that you're like witnessing. So I had to allow that, and. You know, it didn't start romantic with him at all. There was like a wall there because I'm like, I'm not falling in love with my trainer. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So I just kept doing my thing, and then, you know, went on my UK tour.
I was gonna say, what was life like after that?
It started to get useful again, and I started to perform again, and I started to trust myself again, and have the confidence to know that my body was going to follow, and kept my mind strong, and started eating super clean. Screwed keto to the wall. I don't like that at all.
It was a fad.
It was.
I was just at a keto con. I got invited to a keto con, and I mean the expo was great, but I'll never eat or drink anything they give me again. It was like, ugh, give me something that doesn't make me want to not eat this ever again.
There's a little tiny part of me that thinks that. So there's no cause and there is no cure for Guillain-Barré, but there could be some nudgers, I believe. Yeah. One of which,
is it when you genetic?
No, not at all, not in one tiny bit. It's a one-hit wonder, a one and done, unless it's the chronic version of it.
I was gonna say, I wonder how like an ankle twist triggered all that.
It didn't. So. That's what I thought it was. That was the beginning of it, and I didn't even know it was happening.
So it was like already forming prior to that.
So 3 days before the ankle twist, so basically 5 days before the Guillain-Barré showed itself, I had a really bad sinus infection, and I went into the urgent care just to get antibiotics and whatnot, and they do like an MRI or whatever, and they were like, yeah, your sinuses are backed up. But in the military, when you're told you need a vaccine or something, you just lift up your shirt and it's done. Like you don't have an option. And this nurse comes in and she's like, it looks like you're due for a tetanus shot. I'm like, cool, whatever, lift up my sleeve, get it done. But when you have a tetanus shot with the worst sinus infection ever, which is the closest thing to your brainstem, that's just a theory. Yeah. And that's a theory that they apparently cared about because they deleted my record from that day. Yeah, because people are actually filing lawsuits that their tetanus shot or their vaccination caused Guillain-Barré. I'm a firm believer that vaccines just don't like me.
Yeah.
And I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I
was going to say.
Don't care. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
But my body is like.
Well, I mean, it's the thing too is like you don't have to be the term anti-vaxxer to know that your body doesn't respond well to specific vaccines. Like you're putting foreign material into your body, which a lot of times is good for you, and it helps out a lot of people. But I think that there, especially in the medical industry and stuff, especially the pharmaceutical, there's a lot of lack of like, what's the word?
Data?
Well, data, but then just like care. Like they're just pushing it out there. And, I think that a lot of people need to, there's this huge shift to holistic medical care now. Like I'm seeing them pop up all over the place. And what these guys do is they do blood work. They do all these things to make sure that, there's not even a single bit of risk before jumping into something that requires like pharmaceutical grade medicine and things like that. But so you get this tetanus shot and that's either where it started from or it's where you believe that a lot of it.
I believe it was the catalyst, but I also believe that so I was super keto. Like I wasn't even like, you couldn't even get me to lick a potato chip. Like there's nothing. I was like, it touched my food amount. Like there was not, I had to
it was a huge kick for a while.
Make sure there was no sugar in my gum. I mean, I was once you detox off of sugar, I will give keto this. Once you detox off sugar, you realize what is in your body, and it is bad. Yep. Like, it is dangerous because you realize you don't want anything to do with it anymore because you know how bad it was to get rid of. Mm-hmm. And it was that, I mean, that to me was everything. But I started getting like cramps and just lack of nutrition is what I really think it was. But honestly, I don't think that my body would have gone into such dire straits if it had more to work with.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of where a lot of these fads can affect people is they don't realize by switching over into some diet that you're actually now restricting yourself from a lot of nutrients that you could get. Now, I'm not like going to act like I'm an expert on keto, but I have seen this growing trend of people that become malnourished to a certain degree, and you know, they start experiencing, like what you just said, cramps and sickness and their
lightheadedness and very lethargic.
Are you familiar with a guy named Brian Sanders?
No.
So he is popular because he's in fact, he's going to be at the Fit Fest, and he's hosting a little private social the night before. I'll take you guys, and
I should play.
You know what?
Shameless plug.
It's my event. Like, why not? I'll actually shoot. We'll hook it up. But we he's kind of, I wouldn't say anti-keto, but he argues and debates against it a lot.
I am anti-keto now.
He shows off a lot of, or I could totally be wrong. I hope Brian's not watching this, but because he was at KetoCon, that's where I met him. So, but Sorry, Brian. Yeah, no, but he, or he could be a total advocate, but he focuses on a lot of the health aspect of it. And there's a lot of people that, like I was just saying, and not to get too repetitive, that they just get malnourished and things. So, yeah, that certainly could play a big role. Like, did you ever did you ever get any type of clarity, like long-term now that it's been 4 years?
No.
Is there any update on what might have happened?
Nope. And like I said, the hospital deleted my record, so I think they were pretty scared. So
yeah, well,
it was all over the news. It was all over, like Fox 7 did my story, NBC.
Oh, wow.
The one with the N. And yeah, NBC.
NBC, yeah.
And Dallas did my story, like, because Travis Frederick had it 3 months after I did. So from the Cowboys.
Frederick. Oh, okay.
So he was in the Cowboys and I had it. So when Fox 7 had me do it, then Dallas picked it up because I also had a message to Travis Frederick's family and stuff like that. So then you go on a UK tour. I did.
And then you're just slaying it.
Footloose and fancy free. And 3 days before I was supposed to be home, COVID hit. So I had to fly home early.
Oh, man.
Literally. I was like,
what? So like you start walking again, you're coming back, and then boom, they're like, sorry, we're going to shut the world down. Today's episode was sponsored by HulkBuilt Fitness. HulkBuilt is your go-to online coach for weight loss. HulkBuilt serves high-performing individuals who know how to work hard but who are just tired of putting themselves or their body to the wayside. They provide a holistic long-term approach where they teach you how to lose weight and keep it off. HulkBuilt combines fitness, nutrition, cardio, and mindset in an easy-to-follow plan. Now, if you're looking for shortcuts, quick fixes, or temporary results, HulkBuilt is not for you. Why keep trying to put all the pieces together on your own and wade through the bullshit? Instead, simply follow the plan and get results. Your HulkBuilt coach will be there with you every step of the way. If you're ready to take the next step, then go to Instagram at HulkBuilt and send a direct message. If you don't hear back within 24 hours, then all of their spots have been filled. Try HulkBuilt today.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that was rough. That was a really hard time. Like I don't think, like a lot of people, anyone knew what to do. And so, but at this point you were, you'd already had Adam and started a whole new life and doing this stuff, or was that like at the beginning?
We weren't together yet. But so when COVID hit, this is kind of a cute story. Sorry, babe. Don't tell it.
Tell it.
So, when COVID hit, I was getting to my goals. I was super happy. I was losing weight. I was getting toned and firm, and my body was listening and responding and everything. And when COVID hit and canceled all the gyms, I was just like, what am I supposed to do now? And he was like, well, we can train outside the gym. We can go to parks or whatever. I was like, 3 kids. Can we do it in my backyard, please, God? Yeah. Like, I'm not going to go find a park and rent. No, it's not a thing. It's not going to happen. No. So we started coming to my house and we started working out. And then my kids started kind of joining us. It was really cute. And then he got my daughter these cute little pink weights.
Oh, cool.
It was the cutest thing ever. She still has them. They're super, super micro tiny.
Just like little 1 pound weights.
if that. I don't even know. They were just a tiny little baby weights that about that, like a penny around circumference-wise. So she was just lit up like a Christmas tree. One day she asked us, will you stay and watch a movie with us? And I was just like, as I'm saying, like, no, that's not really what we do. He was like, sure. I was like, wait, what?
Daughter's the wingman of the year.
I was like, so what do I do right now? Like, I didn't know how to read it because we both put up a wall. Yeah. Like, there was no, I mean, he could have been married, straight. I don't know. Like, you never know.
Like, well, he's
never tried anything. I've never felt anything. I've never gotten a weird look or a feel or anything.
Well, with trainers too, like they have to have that wall up as just from a professional standpoint. Yeah. So,
and he was like the manager at 24 Hour Fitness. Yeah. So he wasn't allowed to either. Yep. So I was just like, okay, interesting. So we start training at my house still, whatever. Kids watch a movie with him. And then, my daughter's sitting on his lap, and my dogs are trying to sit on his lap. I'm like, good Lord, this isn't going to happen, is it? Don't do this, Deanna. Not a thing. Stop. So still didn't know how to read the situation, even after he stayed for the movie. And, whatever. Couple other sessions, it turned into, like, instead of 2 a week, it was like 3 or 4 a week. And it was just like, he was there a lot. Yeah. And one day, he starts texting me in the morning, and I'm answering him with these gifts that I'm just like eye rolls and the ones that were just like, whatever, like, I am so not in the mood. And he goes, it seems like you need to get out of the house. I'm like, you think? I'm stuck here with 3 kids and COVID. Like, yeah, okay. The house is a great plan for me. So he was like, let's go to the gym. I was like, it's closed. He's like, I'm the manager. I have all the cameras. I have all the keys. I have all the codes. Like, come on. So we went there. And it was like the first time I was just like enamored with him. Watching him work out instead of working out. I'm like, stop it, Deanna. Every time he showed me how to do an exercise, I was like, should I just straddle? Like, what do I do? Like, in my head, it was just like, stop it. And like, he does this thing with his jaw when he looks in the mirror. Clinch. Yeah. And I'm just like, shoot, that's not going to work very long. I was like, okay, we can't be friends anymore because I want to eat you. So it's not a thing. So after that workout, I was just like, stop, just don't. Stop being dumb. And I was sitting on the floor because there was nowhere to sit. So he went to go put the massage table thing away because he did this hypervolt thing at the end all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the best thing ever. Best for recovery ever. Oh, my dear God. The Theraguns or whatever they're called. I don't know.
The Theraguns.
They're the best ever.
They're so popular now. You know what other people use is buffers. You ever seen those, John? The buffers. They take like car buffers. And then they put like it could just be the same thing, like a soft pad, and then they buff out like all the acid buildup and all that stuff.
Lymphatic fluid?
I don't know.
Interesting.
It's a popular thing, especially among like powerlifters and strongmen that put a lot of stress on those areas. Yeah, they're just buffing it out. But the Theragun is, I mean, everyone has one now.
I love them. I swear by them. We tell everybody about them. I'm like, get one. Oh my God, they're so good.
They're great.
They help my sciatica so bad. Yeah. Because after paralysis, my sciatica is pissed off at the world. Just sitting like this, sometimes I'm just like, oh, God, no. But he just, it's more like, yeah. But, yeah. I am animated, sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm
going to clean this off later. Yeah. But that's why there's a condom on it.
Yeah.
But, no, so we're at the gym, and I'm sitting on the ground, and he comes back, and I thought I was just going to get up, and we were going to leave, and he just, like, collapses on the floor, like, I'm done. I'm like, me too. So I leaned back, too. Now we're, like, 12-year-olds at this point. It was ridiculous. I was getting actually kind of frustrated, because he's, like, looking at me. I'm looking at him, like, I'm like, this is so stupid. This is so dumb. Like, do something or don't. Like, what are you doing right now? And he leans over and says, if I were to do anything or to say anything inappropriate, like I could get fired. And I looked at him and I turned around and I said, we broke into 24 Hour Fitness and we're on the gym floor right now. I'm pretty sure you'd be fired already, but nice try. Don't put the ball back in my court, buddy. I was just like, absolutely not. And at this point, again, like I said, I was getting irritated. I was like, you know what?
Make the move or...
Get up, Deanna. It's time to go. I'm cold anyway. I was like, I'm cold. I'm getting up. And he lifted up his arm for me to lay on his chest. And I'm like, that's clear. That's a clear something.
Fired.
Okay. Fired. He got fired. No, I'm just kidding. No, he did not.
We know. We don't know what happened to Adam.
Yeah, Adam's gone. Goodbye, Adam. He's probably out there and thinking that he can't come in here.
Yeah.
So He's like, I'll have your food.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oops. I love you, Adam. I do. So, and that's where we had our first kiss. And that was that. Literally, that's all. Basically, like, was there at our house every day then. And we took the kids to movies and had fun and took them to lakes and hiked. And it was a lot of fun. It really was. And
he's your biggest fan at the shows.
He's just an incredible human being.
Yeah.
And he walked me through my new body. And, like, it was just.
It's a pretty, like, unique bonding experience to go through physical rehab with someone.
Very intimate.
Yeah, intimate's a great word. And, you know, the thing, too, is I don't think a lot of people take into account when you're training and stuff, a lot of the mental growth that can happen. You know, the confidence build.
Oh, yeah.
The stress release.
Just knowing you can do it, too.
And then,
it's just like.
So to share that experience with someone that you can, it's a very genuine person, too. A lot, if people are watching, they don't know who we're talking about. But
we'll flash a picture.
Yeah.
Adam Gould. Adam Fit Adventures.
The man. No, but, you know, that's such a cool story, and especially everything you had to overcome. But that's a pretty nice, like, gift, I guess is a pretty good word for it.
Yeah, he is my gift. Sometimes I feel like I created him in some lab.
Right.
Like, I'm not kidding. Like, it's weird. Like,
he is pretty awesome.
He understands that I was abused for a really long time in multiple different facets. So anytime that I have treated him like he was the one that did it, like, he's just been so gracious and gave me that grace behind everything. And, like, one of our very first arguments, he was just like, hey, like, we're here. Like, it's not your fault what happened to you. And
is it more like it's us against the problem, not us against each other?
Yeah.
That's such a healthy approach.
Absolutely. And, you know, we've worked through everything from he took on 3 kids and just owned it. Like,
yeah.
I was single for almost 6 years just because, for one, I was not bringing random strangers into my kids.
No.
Like, not happening, wasn't going to happen. Even when we were just talking, I was like, I gave him so many outs. Like, hey, dude, I'm a freaking single mom of 3 with a music career. You don't want any of this. Like, yeah, you just run away. Like, go be your single self somewhere else. Like, you don't want this if this is not what you want. Like, I was very, very clear. There is no if, whats, or maybes. You are in or you are out. Because I cannot do that to my kids. I can't do that to my heart. Like, no.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I don't want to go anywhere. I'm going to be right here.
I'm staying for the movie. Your daughter invited me. So, no,
but he was pretty wonderful.
I mean, what a better time, too, for a time that was so awful for everyone. Just the shutdowns and the stress behind it, just to, like, kind of have a saving grace. I mean, especially, like, right on the cusp of overcoming paralysis and then going to live out this dream of performing and then
just shut it down.
God, so
when it was my why, when it was like my lifeblood, the reason I don't get depressed, like everything. So that all coupled together.
Oh yeah.
You want to know what his induction was?
What was that?
Well, so I had COVID.
Oh man, yeah.
Like 6 weeks after we got together.
Uh-huh.
And I was in the hospital for a little while first. I had a stroke.
Jeez.
And then I was in the hospital for like 9 or 12 days. I forgot what it was. At this point, I've had so many little stints. I don't remember what numbers or what. Mm-hmm. But so, and then when I came home, I was still like dead to the world for another 12, 13, 14 days. And he was with my kids, swimming with them every day, like helping do laundry. I'm like, this is what Deanna Wheeler's boyfriend does. Like, this is what, welcome to my life. Here's my children. Like, seriously.
Yeah, get you an Adam. Should be a new saying.
No, he could have just been like, dude, this is a lot. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
But my kids just showed him all the love in the world. And, you know, he, to this day, he's like, people are like, oh, do you have kids? He's like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, like, owns it.
People are like, oh, does he have any kids of his own? He was like, if you ask him, he sure as hell does.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's such a that's rude. Like,
I know.
Like, you don't say that to people. And then second, it's, you know, it's the old term, blood makes you related, loyalty makes you family. And I don't think, you know, if you take on a responsibility like that, especially 3, like, those are very much his kids. I mean, when we first met, he was talking about it like, oh, my kid's this. And so it's an owned title. It's his now.
He loves them, and he loves, and they love him to death. Like daddy's little girl for real, for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully
that kind of gives some people hope. I mean, that's one of the things I run across so much, especially when I'm out socializing and stuff, is we're all the good guys. We're this. And I'm like, well, get you an Adam. Like,
get you an Adam.
Also know your standards. Like, stop settling for
exactly
cops with muscles.
Right.
Yeah.
Lord.
So
get a trainer with them.
Yeah. Right. Well, trainers are great out here. I mean, the city really is full of like, it's, when I said in the hype video for the Fit Fest with Austin being one of the fittest cities, that's not just a line. Like everywhere I look, there's some active stuff going on, and it's pretty unique. It's a lot different than where I grew up, and so, but kind of fast forwarding now. So now that COVID's over, now that you're finally getting back into routine, what is next for the infamous Deanna Wheeler?
A whole different universe, and we're about to release a song called Chasing Dirt Roads that is a game changer. We just did the video in Nashville. And so basically the senior vice president of Universal saw it. My manager, they were going to be my distribution. You know, we were pitching everything. And they didn't want to just do that for this one. They actually stole it. They stole the release. Like, it was supposed to be released like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And they were like, nope, we need time to do this and this and this and this and this. So Universal took over, and it's going everywhere. CMT, Country Network, every single Sirius radio. It's going on the walls of casinos and all kinds of stuff. So it's released like I am a Universal artist, and it's really, really exciting. And there's going to be a lot of PR behind it, and a lot of, which at this point, hopefully there already is. Hopefully you're seeing my face some other places.
People will know. Who knows? This could be timed perfectly. You know?
Yeah, right? So, could be like the day of. You never know.
Yeah.
But it's really exciting, and it's a different type of song. It's about, you know, you just want to go get lost with your friends and leave the city behind, and, you know, go have bonfires and go drive trucks and just chase those dirt roads. Yeah. Enjoy people, and, you know, have a slow dance under the stars, you know, steal a kiss, maybe go too far. So it's
break into 24-hour fitness, like,
right?
Yeah.
Hello. It's the dirt road right there. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I mean those are really. That's why I've always. One thing I hate being asked is, "What's your favorite type of music?" Because I love all kinds of music, but I always do have like a country kick, and I always find that country music is so encouraging. And it always is like talking about fun stuff like that, and especially with
not always.
My favorite type of country music. So, but like
he's biased.
Yeah. Well, meaning the message though is like it shows a lot of appreciation, you know, for just the little things in life that make
gratitude music. Yeah. I like that.
And I think that that's something that should be pushed more in the world with music now. Like a lot of mainstream stuff just glorifies stupidity, and I can't stand it. And you know, what you're just saying, though, is like giving me flashbacks of like my child, just doing silly things, bonfires, just stuff like that. Those are always so much more fun and memorable than like the bars. Like going to a bar and, you know, or just doing all that stuff. So, no, I think that's cool. I think that's a cool thing to kick off with. So, do you have any like tour dates planned, things like that, or things that are happening by the time this comes out?
There will be, I'm sure, but you'll have to go check out my website, DeannaWheeler.com.
DeannaWheeler.com.
And definitely follow me on Instagram, Deanna Wheeler Music, on all other platforms. So,
do you have any other plans outside of music as well?
They want me to do some acting.
Oh, shoot.
I'm going to be doing some acting. And this video, I actually did some acting, and then they were like, holy crap, like, people don't notice that, and they got me an agent. So, I'm like, okay.
Thank you.
From a video, so.
Well, you know, some people are just natural like that, though. Like, it's so random, but...
I should have showed you the video beforehand so you knew what I was talking about.
Well, just show me afterwards.
You'd be like, I know.
There was what's that old show, Angel? You remember that vampire show?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, that guy got discovered walking his dog. And they were like, dude, you like look like you should be on TV. And then he went and did an audition and was just natural.
Wow.
It's just a random fact that I just remembered.
That's crazy.
I know. And so
I just got really cold.
I know that it gets either really hot in here or freezing. But no, so on I guess kind of on that
We're losing
note,
weight right now. You know that, right?
are we?
Yeah. You actually burn more calories in the cold.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever done the cryo?
Yes.
Is
It's
that
not
what
my
you-
favorite thing to do, but it's good for you.
It's necessary. Cold
Have a
plunges
video.
are growing
I
rapidly.
know. I don't plunge into nothing. I can't even be in lukewarm water in 100-degree weather. It has to be like 105.
Really? Yeah. Is that like just a preference, or is it like due to just
So I'm
concerns?
hypersensitive after being paralyzed and stuff. Like, so if my foot goes to sleep, you know those needles you talk about?
Yeah.
They suck, but for me, they're like, I want to die a little bit because they're so intense. And I've been told, like, even like IVs, I can feel the fluid. Like, it's crazy. My body is just hypersensitive now. I don't know why, but I am a little whiny beep when it comes to pain or uncomfortability.
Yeah. I can't. It's so hard for me to imagine these things because like it's just unfathomable to me. Like, but you're killing it, and I'm super excited to see everything unfold. I think it's finally your time, unless the monkeypox ruins everything. I'm just joking. I'm not putting that out there. But
Please don't.
yeah, no, right? No, but everyone, DeannaWheeler.com.
Yes.
And Instagram, socials, things like that.
Deanna Wheeler Music.
And are you TikToking? Are you on that?
Yes, unfortunately, I have had to
Get
dip
on
my
that?
toes in that.
I don't even. I stopped trying.
I am horrible.
After Instagram, I said I can't do it anymore. Like
I'm not well. I do not do it well.
do you do the dances and the mouthing of already pre-recorded like people talking?
I have tried those things. Yeah,
I don't know how they do it. I thought
I do. It's just
Well, I thought all the dancing
I
videos.
look stupid.
Yeah, I can't do it. I had a buddy who's a trainer, and he said the second I have to start making dancing TikTok videos is the day I quit the fitness industry
Yeah.
to get business. Yeah, but I thought that you had to like. I thought when I first saw it come out, and before we wrap it up, this is just a random thought. When I first saw TikTok dancers and stuff come out, I thought that they were following something, like they were watching it, doing it. I didn't know people are just making things up to songs, and that's just too much. Like I don't have time for that. But whoa, it is cold.
Very cold.
On that note, TikTok.
Tidbit nibble, eh?
Yeah, am I? I don't know.
You're a little further down, but
Oh, I know. I got
they
weird.
point down.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
It's I know. Eyes up here. Isn't
Yeah,
that what they
right.
say?
Sorry.
Ugh. But we'll on the
Inappropriate hour.
there are no rules on this podcast, so we'll wrap it up on that. We'll run it back soon, and when everyone sees this, you'll probably forget I exist. And,
Not at all. And I'm actually sporting your shirt.
There we go.
Hello, merch day.
Man, well, I know I was gonna wear yours, but I got a new washer and I mixed the cords, so I washed it in like hot water.
This is excuses right now. Do you hear these lies
This is
coming out
not
of
a-
this boy's mouth?
I'll send you a picture of me wearing it later, and it's like a crop top now.
It's called the Schmedium.
Yeah,
I've seen you in them before. You could have worn it.
I just feel bad. But on that note,
We actually brought you new ones. Yay.
Did you?
Yes.
You should have told me. I
And
would have worn this.
stickers.
I'll put them on here on these mics.
Oh, I was like,
No, not
that's a wall.
That's a beautiful mural.
Beautiful
by my
mural
man,
wall. I love it.
Ricky.
But by the time this comes out, we'll also be able to tell everybody who I'm going on tour with, and that's
Yep.
going to be exciting. And then let me think of anything else.
I know. I don't want to leave anything out.
So me and Adam are actually doing something in the fitness industry too.
Tell me everything.
I think you might know this.
The Ucentric?
Yeah.
I do know this.
Yes.
The DEXA scan technology.
Yes.
The phone app.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is starting to take off and make some moves there too. So
I'm planning on
super
helping
excited.
him. I'm super pumped. I think it's great. I think that it's something that has gotten so important in people's routine now. Like they're starting to smarten up and realize that the scale isn't actually dictate their progress.
Yeah.
It's body fat, muscle mass, all the little things. And the fact that he has come up with a really unique way to measure all that, I'm 100% behind. And I think it'll explode.
Absolutely.
And so...
And to be able to have it on your cell phone is really cool. But hey, can I give him a shout out real quick?
You want.
Go check out Adam Fit Adventures, guys, because he has what's now called Galt Fitness.
Yep.
And he single-handedly recreated my body with diet and exercise and routine, and it doesn't make you want to hate life either. Mm-hmm. He knows how to do it to where it's like, this is what you do. These are the myths you used to live by. This is what you change. This is how you become the real you. And if you guys want that, he does it over Zoom calls, over phone calls. He can help you with whatever stage of life you're in.
Boom.
And one thing he really wants to do later is have a nonprofit to where people that are recovering for something, even if, because people say, oh, you know, they're on remission from cancer. How wonderful. But they have no quality of life because their body doesn't work anymore. Because, you know, chemo has fried them to death. So he wants to work with those people. And there's also parts of his app that will eventually come out that, like, you can make it to where, hey, if you don't have an arm, you can put that. So he can do certain things to say, hey, these are the exercises for what you have. And, you know, it works for a lot of different people going through mental and physical stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think it's good that, you know, that the fitness industry is really starting to broaden its demographic out to people that might be missing limbs, paralyzed, you know, things. I'll have to connect you with Nick Scott. He was the wheelchair
you told me about him.
but he's not only created the wheelchair bodybuilding league to compete at the Arnold, he's also trying to expand to focus on people that want to compete that are missing limbs and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
But we'll do all that. But I guess in conclusion, we'll wrap it up here and we'll have you back on.